Hey, stranger. Welcome back to another episode of
The Spiritual Gayz.
I'm one of your hosts, Brandon.
And I'm your other host, Angel.
And this is our twice monthly podcast. We're back, dedicated to exploring the wide reaches of spirituality without pretending that it all makes sense.
We're back. We didn't actually leave and go anywhere.
You did.
Well, yeah, I guess I did leave and go somewhere, but I'm just saying we as a couple, we did not go anywhere. We are still here. We just were not recording podcasts.
No. And we actually were looking back, and the last podcast was November 4th of 2024.
Yeah.
And then the podcast before that was in Gemini season.
Yeah, if you go back and listen to our last episode, we talk about how it had been since Gemini season, and now here we are in Gemini season. So maybe this is our twice yearly podcast?
Well,
now?
It was twice yearly, but we're pretty committed. As you may have noticed, we're in a new space.
Yeah.
We have brought the Spirit Room to podcast studios about 20 minutes from our house.
Are you so weirded out right now?
Yeah, I'm a little weirded out by it. But it feels good.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't have to
have an emotional and mental breakdown while setting up all of the technology.
All of that. Yes. Yeah. None of that had to happen, but just so lovely.
So we are excited to be re-engaging with all of you, to be re-engaging with the astrology of these current times, because they certainly could use our deep research.
Girl, these current times.
It's a lot.
We should introduce ourselves for anyone who's maybe seeing us or hearing us for the very first time.
Well, it's a strange time for you to be finding us, but this is, I guess, the Spiritual Gayz 2.0, so we're glad you're finding us now.
Yeah, hi, welcome.
Okay, I'm Brandon. I am a queer, non-binary healer. I am a tarot reader, astrologer. I'm also a writer, and I am your husband.
That you are. And I'm Angel Lopez. I am a writer and a film producer, but I am also an astrologer and a teacher of all metaphysical things, and your husband.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us. We've had a great If you want to know anything else, just go to our website.
Yeah, and we'll see you in 6 months. But we've decided that the format of the show is pretty much going to stay the same. Maybe we won't have as many like deep dive topics because we want to stay current with the astrology. So every 2 weeks we might be doing a little bit of that. We still want to have some guests on the show as it feels right.
Totally.
At some point, I do want to finish that tarot series that we started.
We'll finish your tarot series.
Okay. All right. I don't know if anybody cares, honestly, but you know, my
there
Saturn.
There are some people out there who care, who are mad. They're waiting.
My Saturn in Scorpio just doesn't like to leave things unfinished. You know what I mean?
I get it.
So.
By the way, just shout outs to the OGs who are out there, the OG spiritual
Gayz listeners.
Yeah, we do miss you. We love you. We appreciate your DMs or emails or just, cosmic love. So this one's for you.
Should we check in?
Yeah, let's do a check-in.
Okay, cool. Who's going to go first?
I can go first.
Okay.
All right. So our last episode was in November of last
4th,
year, like the first week, November 4th. And I was in a pretty intense space at that time. And it was like 3.5 weeks later. Well, I think actually like days after we recorded or released, I went to North Carolina to see my mother, who was very ill. And spent 2 weeks there with her and my family, and pretty much, all really understood that we were kind of ultimately saying goodbye to her, because my mother ended up passing away on Thanksgiving. So it was like a really amazing, which sounds crazy to say, but it was an amazing 2 weeks of time and it was like 11 days, I think, that I got to spend with her, because we really got to connect and laugh and cry and share just like insanely poignant moments with each other, along with my sisters and my cousin Linda, who I'd never met, who came out from Miami. And just a powerful and, of course, deeply sad experience. She was going in and out of lucidity at times. But when she was in, she was like plugged in. And we got to have like a real proper goodbye, like I got to have like a last really real conversation with her. And it was beautiful. But that obviously just like made for a tricky holiday season, to say the least. But yeah, I just like miss her every day. I think for those of you who have listened to us, that we in general, as a couple, we have experienced a lot of loss in the last 4 years. I've lost both my parents now. Brandon's lost their mother, a really close cousin, your grandfather.
Noche.
And then, our dog of 12 years, Noche. So it's just been a lot of loss. And I do finally feel just in the last month like I have emerged from a really intense like grief portal period. And I do feel like I have learned more about how to live better. And not just how to live better, because I feel like that is just like such a generic thing to say.
Because you hate that. You hate living your best life.
Yeah, I hate a live your best life motif. Like it's just like enough. Like there is no such thing as your best life. And if you're chasing that, I'm sorry.
But Diva, there is your worst life.
There is your worst life, and it usually comes while you're chasing your best life. But there is a better life. And I do think I have been learning to live a better life as Angel R. Lopez. And that I think has been like the most special gift of all of this tragedy.
Yeah. Well, I second that as somebody who's witnessing your life.
Oh, thank you.
That you definitely have emerged. And kind of in like a very quick period of time, if you think about the fact that your mom really only passed away like 6 months ago.
Right.
Like 6 months after my mom passed away, I was still in like very acute grief.
Well, yeah, but I think because we've experienced so much, I understood how to process it better.
Yeah.
For myself. And I also have continued to have a vibrant relationship with my mother.
Yeah. And I think it just speaks to the fact that grief exists outside of time.
Yeah.
And that everyone
totally
finds themselves in the landscape of grief differently. And not only does each person experience grief differently, but every loss has its own different timeline.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll share this quick story. Just that I was having like this moment, I feel like in those like couple months after, where I didn't feel like I was crying enough. Like I was like, I should be crying more, and you know where I'm going probably. Like,
I don't actually.
Oh, well, I stayed home one day and I was like, I'm just going to watch a movie, like something fun. And I watched this Anne Hathaway movie on Amazon Prime called, I think it's called The Idea of You, where she like falls in love with like a boy band guy at like Coachella. And she's like, oh my God, I'm like in my 40s and I'm dating a 20 something. I'm crazy.
It's a great movie. I highly recommend it.
It's such a good movie.
Yeah, I loved it.
But I don't know why that movie was the trigger for me, but the end of that movie triggered me into the most intense like grief cry. Like I just felt so like connected to my emotions at the end of that movie. I just started crying and then I was just like, oh God, all of it. And then I put on, now you'll know where I'm going. I put on an Adele playlist.
Oh.
And I just went into the bedroom and just got into bed and just like heavy ass sobbed for like, I don't even know how long, until you got home. Do you remember that?
Yeah. And the house was like dark. And I was like, hello. Hello.
Hello from the other
And then I walk into the
side.
bedroom, which is like the furthest from the front door. And Angel is under the covers. Adele is like blasting from every Sonos speaker in the house.
Oh, yeah. The whole neighborhood.
And Angel was just like ugly crying is an understatement.
It was, yes.
And I was like, how long have you been like this? And Angel was like, since the album started. And it was like the last track.
Oh, yeah. I think I just put
and
on
I was like, okay.
25,
I was like, well, let's sit up. Maybe you should drink some water.
You took care of me.
Well, that is how you move through grief.
Yes. You put on Adele's 25 and just go for it.
No, I mean, sure. Yeah, you have to go for it. Or you just have to welcome it when it shows up.
Totally.
Because eventually it will find you, or you become one of those empty shell people. And
ooh, yeah, no.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah. We know what happens with empty shell people. They get positions of power.
I was about to say they crack up. But you're right. They become very successful.
Yeah, exactly.
And deeply unhappy.
And ruin everyone else's lives. But anyhow, since then, I have been doing well, been, taking care of me and really working on writing. And that was a big reason why we took a pause from the Spiritual Gayz, because we both really wanted to focus on writing and focus on some writing projects. And we both have we're like now in serious process of writing projects on our own.
Yeah. Like one of the very seductive pitfalls of being spiritual teachers and healers is that if you're not careful, you spend most of your time telling everybody else what might be best for them to do with their lives, and you completely forget what you're supposed to be doing with your own life.
Yeah.
And we definitely felt like we had been giving so much to the podcast and the community and the classes, and it was really nourishing, but we hadn't had the energy and the time to focus on some of the things that like our souls came here to do, which is, these writing projects and what they might lead to. So yes, I got to read the latest draft of Angel's Pilot, and it is spectacular.
Thanks, babes.
It's so funny. And I just want to watch this TV show. So I hope it happens quickly.
Same.
And yeah, I recently finished the second draft of my musical based on the tarot. And I have been working on this, as some of you might recall, since like 2020. So I've been working on this actively for 5 years.
Yeah, and it's great. And it's very
you.
exciting.
Yeah, it is very exciting. So
tell us some more about you.
Oh, okay. Well, I just think we are cycling together right now in the sense that we are both emerging back out into the world after different cycles of retreating and going inwards and healing. And so, yeah, I just got a new tattoo. It's my second tattoo. Angel was with me. I really wanted to get a tattoo to kind of symbolize what I feel is like the end or the crystallization of this prolonged grief portal. So maybe like 9 months after my mom passed away, I got a tattoo. It's a Keith Haring drawing of like a snake eating its own tail to symbolize the ever-evolving relationship. Just because somebody dies doesn't mean that you can't be in relationship with them. But it also, tattoos are like such an expression of understanding your own mortality because you're just borrowing your body. And I think there's something, for me, very meaningful and ritualistic about marking the body for certain moments. And so the tattoo, I don't even know if you can like see it because I don't know what the cameras are looking at, but it's just like this circle and it's an opening. So it was kind of like a symbol of the opening, because it's a circle, of this grief portal. And so now Saturn has moved into Aries, is sitting on my ascendant. Saturn is connected to sapphires in Vedic astrology. And I also feel like Saturn on my ascendant is me kind of like stepping out into the world as an adult, like being an embodiment of Saturn, because planets that you have in the first house, especially close to the ascendant, those are planets that you as a person represent. And so I wanted to get a sapphire on the other arm, and you probably, again, can't see it that well. I don't even know where the camera is. We'll put photos of this on the Instagram. It's still healing. It's still got the like Sanoderm on it. But it's like a crystallization of everything that I've been learning over these last 3 years or so. And so it was really significant to be able to go, and Angel was there the whole time, and I sat like a champ for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And it's not just about my mom. I mean, that first tattoo really was about my mom. This is really more about me and recognizing that I have taken this underworld journey. Grief takes you under, and you're like Persephone in the wintertime, and you're in the underworld, and you're there for as long as you have to be there. And then you come up to the surface again, and you can't rush it. And, you know, it's like Russian nesting dolls. And we know this from astrology, too. Like, every planet is cycling different. And it's not to say that, like, I've been in the underworld for 3 years. Like, parts of me have come up and gone back down. But I feel like more of me has come to the surface and is ready to, like, be out in the world. Like, I'm teaching some Pilates again because I just, like, wanted to be out in the world. I wanted to be with people. You know, my Aquarius ass, like, gets a little angsty when I'm just home alone. So that's kind of my check-in.
I love the Pilates Brandon is back.
Yeah, Pilates Brandon. It's like, it's a new version of Pilates Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fun. I'm definitely enjoying it.
So if you're in the Los Angeles
area,
if
you're in the Los Angeles area, I'm just
go take
teaching
Pilates with
Monday
Brandon.
nights at Dual Core Fitness and Wednesday afternoons at LA Springs.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun because I, for so long, felt like, is all I'm ever going to do with my life teach Pilates? And that put like, just like a sour taste in my mouth about Pilates. But now like I'm doing so many other things, and I do love Pilates. And so it's almost like a hobby where it's like, I get to go and like do this thing that I love that's like not super heavy, and just like, it's a lot of chatting. It's just like me wanting to like hang out and chat with people while we work out.
And play your music for them.
And play all my music.
Oh my gosh.
Baby's Louise. All I have to say is Louise. I just discovered her. She's like a 50-year-old former pop star from the UK. She released an album called Confessions. I'm probably her #1 listener on Spotify. It's so good.
You are by far her #1 listener.
Check out the tracks Borderline, Don't Kill My Vibe. These are on repeat in our household.
All the time.
It's so good. She's so good.
They are actually very good. Like sometimes you'll share new music with me and I'm like, yeah, this is great. And I'll listen to it like twice. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not that interested. But this one, I'm like, oh, wow, yeah. It really fits perfectly into my repertoire.
I feel like Louise is like coming back into the world as well. Maybe that's why I'm like relating to her, because she was gone for so long and now she's back.
She's having her Saturn and Aries moment.
Yeah. There's a lyric. She's like, don't call it a comeback. I don't buy that. I was in here all along. And I'm like, that's so true. Like, we've been with ourselves all along, but sometimes you're not able to be vulnerable and let everybody be in there with you until you've done some of that deeper healing.
I relate to that lyric. I feel like I am in a comeback, but I've been in here all along as well.
It's call it a comeback, but I don't buy that.
I feel like I'm not in a comeback as well. But everyone's trying to put that on me.
Okay. Well,
but I've been here all along.
Yeah. Anyway, go listen to Louise, friends.
Yeah, it's very good. Should we just allow ourselves a little dose of reality? All right. We have come to realize that we are cycling with the Real Housewives of Miami.
Mm-hmm.
That might be possible.
Like, I don't enjoy using the phrase spirit animal because it doesn't really exist in any indigenous tradition, but the Real Housewives of Miami might be our spirit animal.
At least when the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City are not on.
I guess there are other spirit animals.
There are winter. They were probably on when we did our last show.
I think the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City are our shadow.
Okay, fair.
And the Real Housewives of Miami are our true selves.
So yes, for those of you who missed us talking about the reality television that we watch, which I know some of you did. Some of you hate when we do this.
Fast forward. That's fine.
And you fast forward, and it's fine.
But we are going to talk about Drag Race, so, hedge your bets.
Exactly.
Don't fast forward too forward.
All right, The Real Housewives of Miami just started, so there's not really much to report, but they did come out with a bang.
Oh my God, yeah.
But I'm mostly just interested in, like, who are you most excited to be back with?
I feel like I'm about to be a stranger to my past self.
How so?
I couldn't stomach seeing Larsa Pippen on my TV. I found her abhorrent.
You'd leave the room.
I honestly just like had such a really intense reaction to just her whole life. And she came back with such vulnerability, like dropped all of her pretenses. And I'm now like really interested and my heart is open to her. And I think that's the power of good editors.
True.
Because they always keep you guessing, you know?
Yeah.
The housewife you love one season, you hate the next season. But I am really interested of anyone to see what's going on with Larsa because look, a long, long time ago when The Real Housewives of Miami first began, Larsa Pippen was the closest to herself that she had ever been.
Yes.
She looked different. She was just a wife. She was just Scottie Pippen's wife. You know what I mean? Then she got too close to the Kardashian son. She got burned. Something happened.
We all have.
Well, I don't know about me, but
you had your too close to the Kardashian son moment. We know.
But now I feel like she's back and she's closer to herself than she's been in a really long time. And she's too broken to have the energy to keep us at an arm's distance. And she's letting us in. And I just find that really interesting.
Yeah.
So I would say that is who I am most interested in seeing. And obviously, I love my Adriana. She just always brings me joy.
Of course.
But she never lets anybody in for the most part. You know what I mean? Like she's always fronting. She's always playing her game.
Right. Well, I'm shook.
I know. It's surprising.
Yeah.
I was shook.
Yeah. But, don't call it a comeback. She's been in there all along.
Well, I don't know if that's actually true. I feel like maybe she just found herself back in there.
Yeah. She might have like a substance-like moment where the real her just literally unzips from the back and pops out of her.
Listen, I have no factual evidence for this, but I think that Larsa Pippen is the sort of person whose identity is always based on whomever she's dating. And for the first time in her life, she's realizing that she shouldn't be dating anyone.
Uh-huh.
And so now her identity has to be based around herself. And maybe that's new for her.
Aquarius rising.
Is she an Aquarius rising?
No, but that's what I feel like people who are Aquarius risings can sometimes blend into what's around.
Oh, that's interesting. I would give that more to like a Libra rising.
Well, that's in conversation.
I feel like an Aquarius rising.
But Aquarius is, they change their look, they change the way they present. So I think they can sometimes be skewed by the environment that they're in. But who knows?
I don't know what Larsa's sign is.
I don't know either, actually.
I don't know if I care, but
no, well, let's not go that deep.
Okay. Who are you most looking forward to seeing back from their Housewives of Miami?
I love Adriana.
Yeah.
Like, I just enjoy watching her. She's so fun.
She's so funny.
She's funny. I'm just glad to have her back on my television.
Yeah.
In whatever form. I'm happy. Even if she's just a friend of, she's a friend of mine.
And her new man is so hot. Holy cow.
I know. It's great. So she always knows how to produce good television.
Yeah, she knows how to produce
her life.
Well,
her life is television.
Although also sometimes I feel like, are you actually dating that person? Or like, are you
he
just
might be an
dating
actor.
them? Yeah.
He might have been hired.
But those kisses, I felt them. They seemed real. That sexual tension, I felt it.
It's beautiful.
All right.
Okay, yeah. So we're very thick into the latest season of Drag Race All-Stars. Season 10?
105.
117.
RuPaul is now 273 years old. She's never looked better. Honestly,
really?
Drag Race had been a drag for a little bit.
That's no lie.
And we were really struggling to stay committed to the franchise. We did stay committed to the franchise.
We actually did not watch the last All-Stars. A lot of people didn't, I think.
So we did not.
Yeah.
But then we didn't.
But we've been watching the regular
new
season. Yeah, and the last season was
hard.
but it was fine. I enjoyed it.
Who won again?
Anya Nerve.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry to spoil that if you missed
Sorry.
You should have watched
no
it by now.
spoilers.
I mean, come on.
But also, like, if you
time.
you knew from like the third episode, Anya was gonna win.
1,000%.
Like, there was no question there.
But this season, they're doing this like whole bracket thing where
It's
they're
so
having like
fun.
6 queens and like 3-week brackets, and there's like 8. There's 3 brackets, so there's 18 of them total.
Yeah.
And you're actually getting time to get to know them and watch them perform, let them bring or Nicole Page Brooks, don't bring the looks,
Oh.
but bring the personality.
I mean, 100%. Nicole Page Brooks is bringing her looks.
Oh, she's the winner so far.
As you said, she just wants to look like a regular woman who dressed up to go to the grocery store.
I think she said that.
Oh, well, she's nailing that.
Killing it.
That aesthetic.
Oh, yeah.
She's got it.
If I was in Trader Joe's and I saw Nicole Page Brooks there, I'd be like, wow, what's this gorgeous woman doing here?
In the grocery store.
Yeah, she should be at Erewhon.
Yeah, exactly. But then when you put her on stage next to like, you know, somebody with like a full drag beat who looks like they just like got off the spaceship from Planet Dragatron, you're like, oh, yeah, Nicole Page Brooks, you might be a little underdressed. You're overdressed for Trader Joe's, but you're underdressed for RuPaul's Drag Race.
Indeed.
But I just like love that style of drag.
Me too.
It's a drag that is not influenced by the Kardashians.
Yeah, or social media.
Yeah, totally.
You know,
because she's probably too old to be on social media.
Not true. I follow her.
Oh.
And she's very prolific in her stories.
Got it.
Yes. We are living her life with her.
Well,
and I'm here for it. I might delete everyone I follow except for her.
Except for Nicole Page Brooks.
I might just.
But it is a beautiful way to like celebrate some of these queens who didn't necessarily get enough time to show what they can do.
Yeah.
Some of them maybe got enough time and I don't need to see any more of them, but I also know that there are a lot of people that are happy to see some of these queens. It's just, there's a whole range. And even if you're not a huge Drag Race person, this would be a great way in. Like, this is a great season just to like watch, even if you don't have any knowledge.
1,000%.
Because you're meeting these queens in real time. And you, as Angel said, like you get 3 episodes with the same 6 queens and then they get halved. And then you go to another 6 queens and then they get halved.
It's a sports bracket. So if you like sports, you'll love RuPaul's Drag Race.
I don't know if that's true.
They should put my quote on a
But I don't know if that's not
for your
true.
consideration.
Yeah.
I have nothing to do with the show.
Okay, who is the queen that you are rooting for to win?
Oh, to win.
To win.
Oh my gosh.
To win it all.
Well, we're still in the middle of the last bracket. So
I know, but you've met them all. Like you've met all
met them all.
Yeah.
Yes, I have met them all. Oh God, that's a big question.
Okay,
I have to
top
say.
2, 3.
And I'm actually slightly forgetting who was in the first bracket. Oh wait, no, I remember. I'm an Aja stan.
You are an Aja stan.
Always have been.
Do you feel like post-transition, she's like a little too happy and she's not the same sort of like feisty
No, she's still giving
Aja?
it. She's still
she's still
showing up.
serving, but I feel
No,
like...
I know where you're going.
Yeah.
No, and I think she's still kind of giving a little bit. Like, I think she would scrap.
All right.
Yeah.
I want her to still scrap, but I feel like she's just feeling her oath so much that like she don't care to scrap.
No, she's a New Yorker.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, you know, she's a Latina from New York. She will fuck somebody up.
I hope so. I hope her transition hasn't taken that away from her.
I want to see her fight someone.
No, I just want to know that she has that, you know?
She has it.
Like I like the softer side of Aja, but I still miss some of the edge.
I get it.
Okay, so Aja.
Yeah, I'm deeply in Aja love. I'm deeply in Bosco love.
Oh, yeah.
And Ginger Minj, who's in the current bracket right now. I'm just reminded how talented she is, how much I love her.
I know.
Yeah.
Ginger Minj has a spirit and a talent that transcends like her physical form.
Yeah.
Like she's very short. She is not necessarily like the most gorgeous queen, but when she is like doing her full power, she is the most gorgeous queen. Like you just buy it. Like she's so entrancing.
Yeah.
And I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
And Bosco. But Bosco is actually the most gorgeous queen.
Bosco is very gorgeous. I mean, Carrie Colby gives her.
Oh, no.
Carrie Colby is pretty gorgeous. And I hope.
I would love Carrie Colby to win.
Yeah. I hope has like a good moment this season.
I know I do
who else do you?
Yeah, I would say my top 3 are Bosco, Ginger Minj, and I want Carrie Colby to find a way to win.
Right. Yeah.
By hook or by crook. Whatever it takes.
Wow. Hopefully she doesn't have to hook.
Well, I mean, I hear she has a fierce left hook. I mean, she has to. You know what I mean? She can scrap. Carrie Colby can scrap.
I just have to say that in the time we're living in right now, like Drag Race feels like more important than ever too. And the fact that there are like 18 queens that we get to see.
Yeah.
I am just so like moved by that too. And like this celebration of queer culture and representation is on our televisions.
It feels kind of edgy again, right?
It just feels important.
Yeah.
And it's not, and I don't mean that in a like, this is important television.
Yeah.
But it is important television. Like, I'm so grateful for it.
Well, just the representation, because it seems like queer and trans representation in like narrative cinema and TV has really decreased.
Tanked.
Like where are they?
Yeah. Where's my queer Matlock?
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah. They should have made her a lesbian. In a tour de force.
Honestly,
Kathy Bates.
Like,
she could pull it off.
Yeah, that would have
Let's
been great.
be real.
Did you read about the drag queens at the Kennedy Center?
I don't know.
So Dump Truck and the eyeliner lady, they went to the opening of Les Mis.
Oh, yes, I did.
Which is
see
literally
this.
Trump's favorite musical, which tells you everything you need to know.
1,000%.
Like, no offense, listeners, but like, if Les Mis is your favorite musical, you don't know other musicals.
Ooh,
That's what I'm saying.
wow.
That's what I'm saying. It's not even Andrew Lloyd Webber's best.
Somebody's jaw just dropped.
I don't care.
Well, Les Mis is not Andrew Lloyd Webber, honey.
Oh, right. That's on me. You can take away my gay card. Any hoodle, they went to opening night at the Kennedy Center. We're just gonna skate right over that. We're just gonna skate right over that. We don't necessarily have the same editing powers that we used to, so we're just gonna leave that in there, everybody. It's fine.
I think Ragtime's his best.
No, Rent was his best. Andrew Lloyd Webber has never been better than
It
when
was
he wrote
shocking.
Rent.
It was shocking to
Just the way he was able to understand, like that group of people.
He understands the human experience.
Okay, anyway, long story short, because we got to get to astrology.
Yeah.
A stupid dump truck and JD Vance with his eyeliner walked in to the opening night of Les Mis at the Kennedy Center, and I think were booed to some extent. And then all of these drag queens also came, and the whole audience like erupted just to like applaud these drag queens that were just in the audience, And I just think that's beautiful.
Also, that they got into full drag to come see Les Miserables is pretty spectacular.
Well, I think it was like, I don't think it was just to come and see Les Mis. I think it was because they knew what that night was. It was like a form of protest.
Amazing.
It was like, drag is going to be here. Like, just because he got rid of drag at the Kennedy Center.
Right.
And they were like, well, you can get rid of like drag at the Kennedy Center, but you can't get rid of drag queens.
Coming to the Kennedy Center.
Yeah. Or Trader Joe's,
Or Trader Joe's.
Wherever.
More power.
Yeah.
Giving love. Sending love.
All right. That's our dose of reality. I think maybe it's time that we take a cosmic update.
All right. The cosmos, they be cosmosing.
And part of the reason, as we said, that we wanted to come back was this astrology is really juicy and it's kind of complex. And I think Angel and I are better astrologers when we have to teach it to other people and break it down.
Yeah.
Actually, Angel's really good. Angel's always looking at the astrology, but sometimes I forget.
And then you're like, what's going on?
I'm like, why do I feel so terrible? I always pay attention to the moon. I'm always checking the moons. But besides that, sometimes I can forget. So we really want to talk through some of the astrology. And since we've been gone, some big things have happened. So
I mean, there are big things going on.
Yeah.
All the time.
Well, we had big planetary shifts. So
Yes.
what we really want to talk about today, if I'm not mistaken, is that we're in Cancer season.
Mhm.
Jupiter just moved into Cancer and is going to be there for a year. So there's a lot of Cancer stuff that we need to talk about.
Can I quickly ask you, though, how was your Gemini season?
It's great. It's going great. I love Gemini season.
Yeah.
As an air sign, actually, Gemini season is like when I come alive.
What's the greatest thing that has come out of Gemini season for you?
Just like all of my friends.
No.
Just like seeing my friends and going out into the world and
Yeah, you're so busy.
talking on the phone and making last minute plans and just loving my friends.
I love it.
Because Aquarius season is great, but like Aquarius season can be a little aloof, and Libra season is also great. I actually have no notes because Libra season is fucking great. But for some reason, maybe it's because I don't know. I don't know what it is, but for me, Gemini season, maybe because it's summer, I'm always just like, this is my moment to have fun. And the astrology has been really good because we've got Venus in Taurus right now, and it's just like, it's very nice.
Yeah. You're feeling yourself.
Yeah, and it's not over yet. Don't rush me to the finish line. I still have like another week of Gemini season.
Okay, sorry. Well,
What's been your favorite thing about Gemini season?
honestly, all the writing I've been doing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I have been just really in my writing zone. Like, my writer brain has been turned back on in in a way I love.
Yeah.
So I'm just really enjoying that more than anything. Like just the communication about my writing too, because I love when people talk to me about my work.
I know you really do.
Oh my God. Do you want to talk about it again?
No, I'm good for the moment.
I'm just kidding.
I'm okay.
But yeah, that is. But yes, Jupiter in Cancer.
Jupiter in Cancer. And then, so we're going to talk about that in a second, but I also just want to say we also are planning to talk about Saturn and Neptune because they both moved into Aries around the same time. And then they're going to back into Pisces. And this is kind of a story that we're going to be working with over the next year or so.
Yeah.
And these are big deals because these are outer planets that are shifting signs, and they don't do it that often. And when they do, we really feel a different energy coming into play. And then at the very end, we'll tee up what we'll talk about in our next episode, which is Uranus and Gemini.
Beautiful.
Because that'll happen like the day before our next podcast comes out. Okay, so Jupiter in Cancer.
Yes.
So Jupiter is the planet of expansion, abundance, blessings. Cancer is the first water sign of the zodiac. And Cancer is actually a sign where Jupiter is exalted. It's one of those signs where that planet is super well resourced. And I think one of the reasons for that traditionally is because Cancer is a sign that wants to nurture. It is one of the signs of the mother. It is intuitive and emotional and relational. You know, Cancer can speak to your family, your chosen family, your ancestry. So when Jupiter is in Cancer, it's a planet whose intentions are well aligned with the style of the sign. Jupiter wants to grow things, wants to nourish things, wants to nurture things. Cancer energy wants to do that too. So it's a sign in which Jupiter is well resourced to grow things, but it's growing things from an emotional perspective. Now, add to this that any planet in Cancer answers to the moon.
What does that mean again?
What does it mean? Okay, so every sign has a ruling planet. It's like the producer of that sign. And so you have to pay attention to where that ruling planet is because that changes the style in which we receive the energy of those planets. So when Jupiter is in Cancer, every 2.5 days, when the moon changes signs, the way in which Jupiter bestows their blessings changes. So part of what I think we're learning over this next year of Jupiter in Cancer, because Jupiter's in Cancer, and Jupiter's not going to retrograde out of Cancer. Jupiter is just in Cancer for the next year.
Parked.
And so there are 12 signs that the moon shifts through, and that's 12 different types of blessings that we can receive. And so every 2.5 days, Jupiter is going to teach us how to receive a different style of blessing. And sometimes it's very easy for us to think like, well, there are good signs for the moon, and then there are bad signs for the moon. And I think Jupiter in Cancer is going to teach us that all signs are a place where the moon has a specific blessing to give us. And you just have to get yourself correct to receive what the Scorpio moon blessing is or the Capricorn moon blessing is, because there is a gift and a blessing there, but you have to align yourself with it.
Right. So if you are really interested in astrology, now is a good time to pay attention to the moons, what signs they're in, to get a sense of even like planning for yourself.
Yeah. Because, Cancer has a reputation for being moody, which really just means that they are moony. The moon as the closest body to the earth, it, rules the tides of water in our own bodies. So when the moon changes signs, the way in which we are receiving energy changes. And so obviously the way you might feel about something when the moon is in Aries is going to be different than the way you feel about something when the moon is in Gemini or the moon is in Leo.
Right.
And so we're going to kind of learn that. So we are in Gemini season recording this podcast, but soon we will be in Cancer season, and the sun will be in Cancer, and Jupiter will be in Cancer. And for that first week, Mercury will also be in Cancer. And so those are planets that every 2.5 days are going to change the way in which they feel about things. So that's important for you to keep track of too, because you might be really excited about a project on Monday, and then come Thursday, you're like, this is trash, But it's not. You're just being influenced by the moon in Scorpio as opposed to the moon in Libra.
Yeah, it might just be those 2.5 days you need to take a break from the project that you're working on because you can't process it properly.
Totally. But it is like universally considered, Jupiter in Cancer, to be auspicious astrology, which is not to say that like the world will fix itself.
No, she won't.
Because girl, that ain't happening anytime soon.
Nobody knows.
But I do think Jupiter in Cancer allows us to soften and to become more relational and to nurture ourselves and nurture the people that really matter to us. It brings a heightened awareness of our emotional truth as a language through which we can grow. Because when Jupiter's in Gemini, we ain't feeling, we're thinking. You know?
Yeah.
But now we're in Cancer. And so what we feel is just as important as what we think.
Yeah. Well, if you just think of Cancer as like the spirit of intuition, right? That then like our abundance, our blessings come from following our gut.
Yeah.
Like being in touch with our intuitive side, our intuitive self.
And I would also say that, you know, like Cancer is the crab. It's the shell around the soft meat. It's the rib cage around the heart. It's the container. It's like that which protects that sacred jewel inside. And so sometimes we do have to create those boundaries. You know, we have to keep out the people that would take advantage of our softness, or we have to erect a healthy boundary so that we aren't always exposed.
Yeah.
Because being able to have access to that inner chamber of wisdom and knowledge, that's what actually knows how to move us forwards in a good way. Like in a lot of the Eastern traditions, the mind services the heart, not the other way around.
Right.
So this is a really good year, just Jupiter and Cancer in general, to like let your heart guide you forwards. If you don't care about it emotionally, it's probably not going to be something that your soul is going to be stoked about you spending time and resources on trying to pursue.
Yeah. And obviously, like, because the way charts are made, this is happening in different areas of everyone's life, you know, because it depends on what house you have Cancer in. I always like to think of the cycles, right? So we had Jupiter move through Cancer 12 years ago.
Right.
So if you think back to your life in 2013-ish, like that can also help you get a sense of like, all right, well, what themes, what areas of my life are trying to get my attention, and how does it create a connection to my life in 2013, like what was going on in my life then. And you might see some similarities of theme or even experience showing up for you. And it just becomes opportunities to maybe take advantage of certain blessings or opportunities that you perhaps didn't or did, but didn't do entirely well.
Right. Yeah.
Didn't
so
fully
like,
follow your heart.
if you're like, oh shit, my life was a hot mess in 2013, it doesn't mean your life is going to be a hot mess again. No. I mean, it could. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know your life. But whatever
what were the
lessons,
choices?
whatever lessons were being taught to you in 2013, you're going to have an opportunity to practice them, integrate them, or go deeper with them.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I like this whole sort of following your heart, following your intuition, because I actually do think that there is some similarity with a Saturn and Aries in that as well.
Oh, say more.
Well, so Saturn is in Aries now. It moved in there May 24th, and it's actually just a summer of Saturn in Aries because it's there through September 1st, and then it is going to shift back into Pisces for a hot minute. So we have this summer of Saturn in Aries. I think that does on some level, if we think about Aries being very much about like, on some level, intuition, right? Like just impulse.
Right.
Is the better
instinct.
word.
I would say instinct. Yeah.
Exactly. Like following your instinct. And also like asserting your independence and your individuality. And Saturn really asks us to take responsibility for that.
Totally.
You know, whatever fears or self-imposed limitations you have around your instincts. You know, maybe you have made so many mistakes that you're like, I can't trust my instincts anymore. Well, Saturn in Aries is an opportunity to take that back and say, well, maybe I have to learn how to. Maybe I have to learn if I can forgive myself and be like, okay, now I have to try again.
Yeah.
And it is ultimately about like really taking responsibility for your independence and your individuality.
Yes.
You know, showing the world who you really are. I mean, it's so funny. I keep going back to Louise, but but that comeback is a bit of like a Saturn and Aries element.
Totally.
Right? And I also love that the cover is like all red, like everything's red, very Aries. But anyhow, like
I wonder what sign Louise is.
Oh, I looked. She is, I think, I want to say, is she a Scorpio?
Yes, I think you're right. I think she is a Scorpio.
she's a Scorpio.
Mars ruled. Those are the two signs ruled by Mars,
Yeah,
Aries and Scorpio. All right, I won't even look it up. We'll just trust that that's true.
And stream confessions.
Oh, it's so good.
But I just think that there is just a relationship there, right? Of like following that instinct, that intuition towards something.
Claiming yourself.
Yeah.
And also, I think if Saturn is work and Aries is the sign of the self, there is work that has to be done to excavate who your true self is.
Yeah, you got to do the work on
because
yourself.
especially in these times in which we live, we are so influenced. Like we're constantly being sold things, sold ideas of what success looks like or what joy looks like or what we're supposed to care about.
Yeah.
And the work is to kind of get still and quiet, to be solid like Saturn and inquire within, what do I actually care about? Maybe I don't need a Labubu. Like maybe I don't give a fuck about Labubu, you know?
It's not long lasting.
But this also brings up...
But if you have an extra one, I'll take it.
Yeah, Angel really wants one. You guys, I thought I was going to be husband of the fucking year. I found this store close to our neighborhood that was selling Labubus for like reasonable prices.
I kept bringing them up. Like
because
how funny they were. Yeah, I thought they were so funny.
Yeah, you really wanted one.
I did kind of want one.
So then I went to the store and I bought you 2 of them. They were like not that expensive. It was like $20 for each one. And they turned out to be fake.
They're Lafufus.
They're Lafufus.
Most people out there probably have Lafufus.
They also, like, you wouldn't know. Like, if you just saw one of them hanging
one
from
of them's
your bag.
a little ratty.
I know, but I love that one, actually. I want to put that fake Labubu in one of my fake bags, and I'm just going to feel so real. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, my God.
Put that fake Lafufu on my fake Fendi and just walk out into the world, and I'm just, oh, honey, it's going to feel so good.
Oh, my God.
Any event, what I was wanting to say about all of this is that Saturn in Aries is not acting alone because Neptune has also moved into Aries and the two of them are kind of traveling together for a while. Yeah. And so we know that Neptune as a planet has this, it obscures things. It makes things dreamy or fogged in. And so unfortunately, Saturn, who is not well-resourced in Aries, the way that Jupiter is well-resourced in Gemini, is also kind of like having to deal with a lot of like projection and influence from Neptune as well.
Well, I mean, and it's a world we've been living in because Saturn was in Pisces, the Neptunian sign, for the last 2 years, and we'll go back there.
No, Saturn's had a rough time because Saturn doesn't do great in Pisces. They're like a prisoner on a cruise ship. And now they're in Aries, which is challenging for them. And Neptune's there kind of whispering to them about when they were a prisoner on a cruise ship and reminding them that in a couple of months, they're going to be a prisoner on a cruise ship again.
Totally. But I would say that it's given us like a glimpse into the foggy facade that, that Neptune is creating in Aries. Like we've already kind of, I think, gotten a sense of that. Like the amount of like fake AI, like video imagery, that has started to arise even more and more is so alarming.
Yes.
Like, especially just as people like start to share it as like a real thing. I mean, the funniest one to me was that like, did you see the one of like the Latina grandma, like the abuelita who like had her chancla out and she's like at a protest, like hitting like some of the like police officers.
Ambios, it's a great time to not be on social media.
So she's like this woman and it was AI.
Right. Yes, of course.
But it looked very real and people shared it as like, look at what this lady did. Right. Like, she's a superstar.
She's an icon. She's an icon that doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, I'm like, she's not real, everybody.
Wow.
And there's like so many of those. And TikTok is obviously just like pervasive in that. It's just like, I think just shedding that type of imagery now on a daily basis. It's so funny.
The teaching
crazy
there, though, is that we have been consuming media kind of mindlessly for a long time.
Yes.
And
scroll.
Now we have to question everything that we consume because we're not sure if it's real or not. And we have to trust our own intuition that if something feels fishy, it probably is. Yeah. And that's what I think is like the higher octave of Neptune in Aries is the spiritual aspect of things and being a spiritual warrior, because Aries is also the sign of warriorship. So if we think about Neptune and Saturn together in Aries, it's like, okay, the work is to be the spiritual warrior for yourself that you want to be and not be so susceptible to all of the brainwashing and the seduction of capitalism or fake news or people want your energy, people want your time. Yeah. People want your vote, and understanding that there's power in that and to protect the value of it.
Yeah. Well, my hope is that Saturn in Aries being like a closer energy helps with that. That's my real hope for it is because, when Saturn is in Aries, it asserts a big rebellion energy.
Yeah.
A big need to break free on some level of a collective mentality and assert yourself.
Yeah.
And so my hope is that, this Saturn and Aries shift will break some people's spells from these, just like collective digital spaces that we've all been just mindlessly stuck in, and reminding themselves to, assert their own individuality and, in whatever creative fashion that is, not so much like feeding the masses
or the
what
ego.
You think they want, but feeding them what is inside you.
Your soul.
Yeah. So it's interesting to me. And it was like the late 90s was when we had Saturn and Aries last. And I was thinking what were the cultural things?
The fashion is back, baby.
Well, the fashion is definitely back. But I did notice just from a queer perspective that say what you will about her as a person, but Ellen DeGeneres came out on television, in 1997. And that was a huge moment for the LGBTQ community and just in culture in general.
Yeah.
It put it out into culture in a new way.
Yeah.
And so I think things of that nature, it'll be interesting to see that piece of it.
Yeah.
For ourselves
and
how it plays.
And Saturn and Jupiter this year are going to spend a lot of time in conversation with each other because for the most part, Saturn will move back into Pisces and Jupiter will stay in Cancer. But then there'll be some water-to-water conversations that they're having.
Totally.
But these are the two big teachers of the zodiac.
Yeah.
And so they really are going to be teaching us how to grow and expand and trust ourselves.
Yeah, especially because, all of those personal planets, the Mercury, Venus, the Sun, Mars, they're all going to be making connections with them. You know, they're all going to trine them. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to watch. All of the learning that can occur for everyone this summer.
Yeah. But for the next 2 weeks, just pay attention to the moons if you're feeling a little moony.
Yes.
This podcast is coming out on the new moon in Cancer. So if you're listening to it on the day that it came out, this is a beautiful day to kind of set new intentions for your heart. This is one of the sweetest lunations of the year. So just being tender to yourself. Your heart is a little baby and it needs to be cradled and held.
Oh, little baby.
Little baby.
All right. Should we do...
Yeah. Let's do our tarot card of the episode.
Yeah. Offer a gift to the people.
Oh, but you know what I did actually want to offer?
What?
Is that I pulled cards for the transits to help us understand them.
Uh-huh.
And I won't share them all right now because that's a lot of information, but I just wanted to share that Jupiter in Cancer is the Queen of Cups.
Oh, uh-huh.
Sometimes this is a great practice. If you're having trouble interpreting a particular astrological transit and you speak tarot language, you can pull a card because that might help you just see it in a different way. And Queen of Cups is all about this deep soul transformation. It's sitting at the bottom. I think we actually did get to do Queen of Cups in our unfinished tarot series, but she's down on the ocean floor. She's chatting with all the mermaids. It's a place where language can't go. And so sometimes when the heart knows something, the brain isn't able to understand why because the heart can't necessarily give receipts. And so this whole year is about really going into the depths of transformation. It's double water, the Queen of Cups, and allowing a deeper relationship to your own unknowable parts of yourself. We are so much larger than we can even imagine. And with Jupiter in Cancer, the expansion is happening on the inside, not on the outside, and just allowing yourself to feel into that. And you don't have to understand it for it to be true. You have to feel it in order for it to be true. I think that's one of the things that the Queen of Cups really teaches us. Okay, so I'm going to pull a card. This is our tarot card of the episode, so you know how this goes. Just tune into the cards by listening into the sound of them being shuffled.
The ASMR portion.
And just trusting that this message will resonate no matter the future, place, or time to which you listen to this episode. If you have a particular question or if there's an issue that's weighing heavy on your heart that you need a little extra guidance around, you can just throw that out into the ether. Just asking that this card resonate for all those that are listening, that this message find those that need it the most. Wow, it's the King of Wands.
Ooh.
That's really powerful. So now I'll share that the King of Wands reversed was the card I pulled for Saturn in Aries.
Right.
Which
we got him direct.
But we got him direct. So the King of Wands is power over power. It's actually double fire as compared to the Queen of Cups, double water. And so we're working with these two elements. But fire on fire is really about being electric. Think about lightning and the way it strikes. There's also something about the King of Wands that knows how to like wait for the right moment to pounce. I've been reading this really interesting book about like the shamanic underpinnings of Judaism. And there's this concept of like God the Panther. There's also like God the Bear. It's like different faces of God. But God the Panther is the version of the divine that hears a prayer and then waits until it's the right moment for that prayer to happen in your life. Makes me think about like Ayanna Van Zant and that famous interview with Oprah where Oprah was like, why couldn't you like, and she was like, I wasn't ready to receive it, right? Like sometimes we want this thing to happen, but we don't realize that we aren't quite ready to receive it, or the consequences of getting the thing that you want would unmake you until you get to a certain place. So the King of Wands is trusting that instinct, that fire instinct that says like, yes, I want to do this, but this isn't the right time to have that conversation. This isn't the right time to launch that project. Or conversely, this is the right time to make that phone call. It's also a king, so it means that it's recognizing that there are other people in your kingdom. You live in a community, and you might need to empower others so that they can also empower you. There's a sense of like reciprocity. To me, the King of Wands is like a conductor of a symphony orchestra or the director of a big theater piece or a motion picture or a TV series, because there's all these other moving parts. There's all these department heads or all these other artists who are not extensions of you. They are people who have their own hopes and dreams, but it's about finding a way to come together to service that greater dream. Because the King of Wands is quite spiritual. It's not just about your goal. It's about what that goal is trying to serve in the world. Like, why are you writing this TV show, right? It's not just so that you can say like, hey, I'm Angel Lopez, I wrote a TV show and accept an Emmy, you know? Like that might be part of it because like we're all human. But there's a deeper spiritual reason that you want to put that show out into the world. And so the King of Wands is about like connecting to that and letting that be the fire that connects you with the other people that can maybe husband this dream moving forwards. And maybe you're not a creative, you know, that's okay. Maybe you're an accountant and you're like, well, how does this, you know, connect for me? It's like, well, what are the things that you want to bring into the world that require more than you? Who are the people that actually like look to you as a teacher or a leader that you can inspire? And it just kind of takes me back to that conversation about Saturn and Neptune and Aries, which is like reclaiming the value of the self. That like you matter. And maybe in this time of like social media, we're more interconnected than ever. We actually feel like smaller than ever because we're in the face of how many people there are in the world. Like when we lived in a village of like 20 people, you were like, I matter because there's only 20 of us.
Yeah.
But now we're aware of like the size of the world. And it's like reclaiming that you matter. Everyone does. And so you might be the person that helps somebody else to remember that.
Love it. Well, reclaim that you matter, everybody. Reclaim that you matter. Thank you all so much for checking back in with us.
Don't call it a comeback. We've been in here all along.
We've been in here all along. But thank you all so much for just being present for us, being a part of our community. You know, you can always check our website, thespiritualgayz.com, to find out what we have going on. We still do offer readings and services. And who knows, we'll probably venture into another sort of group activity.
Class, workshop, retreat. Who knows? The sky's the limit.
Exactly.
But for now, we're just happy to be back with you. Thank you for inviting us into your ears and your hearts.
Yes.
Until next time, this has been your transit through the spiritual gaze.